Welcome to Ghost Education 101, where curiosity meets experience and the doors to the entire paranormal landscape are finally open. Hosted by Dr. Heather Leigh and Dr. Tiffany Frazier, this series is built for everyone who wants to understand the unexplained the right way. Whether you're just stepping into the unknown or you've been investigating for years, this is the place where you can sharpen your approach, deepen your understanding, and cut through the misconceptions that have overrun this field for far too long. Each episode walks you through the full spectrum of paranormal activity. Classic hauntings, intelligent spirits, cryptids, elemental beings, poltergeist phenomena, and the modern challenges investigators face today. We break it all down. The science, the method, and the mystery, without dumbing it down and without drifting into theatrics. Grounded in research, history, and real-world investigation, Ghost Education 101 is your classroom, your laboratory, and your gateway into the most compelling unexplained experiences on record. Learn, question, discover. Welcome to Ghost Education 101. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Heather Leigh and Dr. Tiffany Frazier.
Good evening, everyone,
Hello.
and Happy New Year. Hey, Tiffany, how's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am
It is so good to be back. I know.
Exactly.
So awesome.
And we could not have started off the year with a better guest. This is going to be an amazing show. I'm going to keep my intro short. We will talk after because I know we only have him for an hour. But those of you who have been watching Ghost Education 101 for a while have known him. He's been a repeat guest. I met him when I was out in Vegas. Amazing guy. He wrote the foreword to my Ghosts and Legends of Vegas Valley. Excellent foreword. Love it. I can't even say thank you enough for that one. And I'm just going to bring him on and we'll talk about the other books that I have sitting here in my lap. Hey, Father Shawn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I snuck out of, hopefully Bishop Long didn't notice, I snuck out of Bible study an hour early to be with you two, and then I got to go back to night prayer at 7, so I apologize. I wish I could be with you guys the full 2 hours, and you held up your book. I'm going to hold up mine because you contributed an article in there. You are a wonderful contribution on shadows, shadow people, mists, and orbs. And you talked about the Hat Man and shadow people. I don't even want to give nothing away to anybody. You got to get this and read what Heather contributed to that book. So God bless you and thank you for that. You did a wonderful job.
Thank
on
you
that.
for
I hope
asking
you had a
me to
good
be part
time.
of it. I had fun writing that one. That was a lot of fun. That's a topic that I've researched for years, but no one's ever asked me to write about it. So that was
and isn't that interesting talking to Tiffany before the show and asking her how she got involved in this crazy thing we do, whatever it is we do. And she had mentioned having issues with shadow figures. So, that's a big thing. A lot of people experience that,
Yep. And that's a whole nother show because I have a big project that we're working on behind the scenes on Shadow People and the Hat Man. So hopefully keep your fingers crossed that comes out. But before we go any further, pretend I have book 1 here, but here's book 2. I'm unpacking. I still haven't found book 1 yet, but
I'll hold up book 1.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yep. I need to get these books. I need to fill up my bookcases.
I have to. Annette sometimes gets, she doesn't get upset. I don't think I've ever seen an upset.
No.
But she thinks that something that I'm honest about with book 1, she thinks curbs the sales. And reason being is I have this picture in the book on the bottom photo on page 198. Tell me if you guys can pick up what's there.
I've read the book 100 times, so I know the photo you're talking about.
That, Tiffany, can you see the apparition there? The bottom of the ladder, right in the middle?
I see something. It's not very clear through the camera, through the internet, but I do see something there.
Well, there is clearly there's a small child standing
Okay.
there. And the interesting thing about book one, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry, is not off of Amazon, but the people, you can get it a little less expensive at Amazon, but if you buy it off of the website, ghostbegone.biz, they leave my office here. I autograph them and they arrive to you in a beautiful house blessing kit. You never know when one of those is going to come in handy. And I had, over several years, I've had quite a few people reach out to me and tell me that they've seen, since they received the book, they've seen that apparition in their home. So
Wow.
I wanted to be the responsible author and at least let people know that book one may be haunted.
Mm,
And buy it at your own risk. No one's reported having experienced anything malevolent, but they've
mhm,
seen that apparition in their home, and I find that I wish I could get to the bottom of that. I find that amazing, and I don't know what that's all about. If either one of you have a theory or an opinion on that, feel free to throw it at me.
Yeah, I have a couple theories on that one.
yeah, I mean, obviously there's some kind of energy in that photo.
It's interesting
And
here because my wife has seen my, for lack of a better description, I'm just going to say doppelganger.
mhm,
She sees me many times sitting here just like this in my office at the computer working, or my head's down. I'm either, looks like I'm writing or reading.
mhm.
Her first impression when this first happened a few times, that it was me, and she would just walk on by and head into
Oops,
another part of the
sorry.
house and run into me, the real me. And she'd go, "Wait a minute, I
Wow.
saw you in the office." And I would say, "Well, that's not me." I would say almost, not every time, but almost every time that has happened, right after that, the apparition that's in that book appears and comes out of the office and walks down our hallway, across our living room, and out our back door. And this has been going on a long time. This is while we still had our last two mastiffs here before they went to heaven. They would actually see it too, and their eyes and heads would follow this apparition. Like I said, my wife and I, and anybody that's read the book and reached out to me because they've seen it in their home, no one has reported any feeling anything malevolent or foreboding
Mhm.
from the
Mhm.
apparition. We haven't felt that either, but I find that yeah, there must be some pretty powerful
Mhm,
energy attached to that photo.
Mhm.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm,
Or I mean, two other theories is he's using the books as a portal to check out the rest of the world. Wherever you send him
mhm.
to, he just goes and makes an appearance. Or even because you talk about it, people might be self-manifesting it.
Yeah, that's another big one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know I haven't had any experience, but I would think if you tell people the book's haunted, that they would buy it more because you see all these people spending hundreds of dollars on haunted dolls and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it could go either way,
Right.
and that seems to feel that, and you've written many books, both of you
Mhm.
have. You guys know how it is. It's a roller coaster ride. You go a
Yep.
period of time where it feels
Yeah.
like nobody in the world is reading anything, and then
Mhm.
Right.
all of a
Yes.
sudden you have a good, you know, couple 3 months,
Yep.
and none of us are authors. Don't get rich unless you're like on the New York Times best-selling list, and I
And
don't
not even
know.
then sometimes.
Exactly.
You
I
know.
can't remember. Do paranormal novels even make it to the New York Times best-selling list? I'm not sure.
I'll have to look up which one was the last one. I mean, I'm sure they do. Um, not often. Uh, and not unless and this is not painting the New York Times in a bad light or anything, but um, y- usually it's not going to be a newer author. Let me just put it that
Mhm.
way. So,
You hear crazy stories like I read somewhere once where Stephen King was turned down by maybe 150 or so
Oh, I think more than
publishers
that.
early
Yeah.
on, probably more than that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I know a lot of people that reach out to me. They know that my co-host is a publisher. They've
Mhm.
either written a book, now they don't know what to do, or they
Yeah.
haven't quite got started yet and they don't know how to get started. Um, I just tell people I'm not an
Mhm.
author. I'm not a writer, and I obviously channeled something when I wrote both my books.
Mhm.
And so I tell them just jump in, just write it,
Yes.
and
Mhm.
you'll see what happens, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. And there's people out there to help you get your work published. You don't have to worry about going
Yeah.
to a big publishing company,
Mhm.
or and even if you learn how to
Absolutely.
self-publish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I do. That's
Mhm.
how I started.
Yeah.
And I know Heather's thinking about
I'm
that
working
route
on it.
too. Yeah. So, but I always tell people, you, there is somebody out there who needs to read your story.
Mhm.
Even if it's not going to be, even if you don't become big like Stephen King or a Nora Roberts or, Anne Rice, there is somebody who is going to benefit from reading your story.
Mhm.
To
Absolutely.
just write it and put it out there. And I didn't believe that until I got an email from this one person. I'm very open in my author community. I have severe dyslexia. And so I'm very open about that. And I tell people, look, I can barely read. I can barely write my name. I can't dial phone numbers, but I still wrote these books. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it.
Mhm.
And I got an email from a reader who thanked me because my book was the first book they read and they found their love for reading. And they're also dyslexic. And that just, I saved it. I have it printed and put away in a special place because that was like, okay, this is why I do it. This is
Mhm.
why I do what I do,
Yep.
because that was the whole purpose, was to
Mhm.
reach somebody. So
Yep.
That's
Yep.
wonderful.
Yep.
Do you find that having been that way, I consider that a gift. Some may not. I consider it a gift. Do you find that helps you in your in how you go about? I know you're a paranormal investigator also.
yes.
You find that helps in your technique in approaching that field?
I can't say I have really ever thought about it that way. Because as you know, when you're investigating, I mean, you're not reading and writing really, in the moment, anything like that. But um, I mean, I guess I do kind of rely more. I've never been like, I have equipment, but I'm not like big on equipment. I'm the type of person I'd rather sit there and see how I feel.
Yeah.
So maybe subconsciously that's why I do it. But I can't say that I ever really thought about my dyslexia kind of aiding me in my investigation techniques. Yeah.
Very, very cool. I'm like that too. I don't have a lot of equipment, just enough to get by. I investigate on a budget, because
Yeah.
I also have a lot of people that reach out to me. I have no money,
Yeah.
Father Shawn, but I want to go out and investigate. What should I do? So, I mean, it can be done on a budget, and I'm sure Heather feels the same way. We are our best piece of equipment,
Yes.
Yep.
and you don't have to be so stressed out and worried about capturing the best evidence. Um,
Mhm.
I always feel that I have felt that paranormal investigating has always been, still is, and will always be a personal spiritual
Yeah.
endeavor and journey, and it's the kind of it's made for us to sit around the campfire and tell ghost stories afterwards and tell of our experiences.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And those of us that have been doing it for a while, we enjoy hearing those stories from other people that do what we do. We don't
Mhm.
need to see, the best,
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter. I've had some of the greatest evidence captured that has made me just go, and I put it out there, and people just debunk
Oh
us,
yeah.
just blow
Mhm.
it apart.
They just poo
But
poo it. Yeah.
no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yep.
matter.
It doesn't. That's
Yep.
so funny. I was actually just telling my daughter that same thing a couple days ago. I don't remember what exactly we were talking about, but I told her because I had an experience recently on an investigation and I know what happened. And for me, it was 100% real. But, you know, I can show everybody in the world the evidence, and a good majority of them are going to say, oh, you know, it was this, this, and this. But I felt it. I know what happened. So I told her, I said, you know, I know it was real, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people reach out to the two of you for advice and for
Oh,
help.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, we just the simple fact that we're there to listen and let somebody vent to us and tell
Yeah.
us of their experience is very empowering for them and releases so much and helps them move on from that. Whatever they want to do with that afterwards is on them, but it's very helpful for us to just be there and listen. Sometimes, you know, I don't have all the answers. Um, but it's that can be very therapeutic for a lot of people just to have someone there to listen.
Absolutely. And I'm sure,
Yep.
Heather, you've probably experienced this too. Sometimes that's all you need to do. You don't
Yep.
have to do a full investigation. Sometimes they just
Yeah.
need to talk about it.
Yeah. And I discovered that too at work. I mean, because I work in sales, and sometimes we get the senior citizens come in, they don't have anyone to talk to, and they just want to have someone listen to them. Whether it's, my internet was down for 2 hours or my phone's not working, they just want someone to talk to. And it's just a matter of just nodding and listening. And, then they're happy when that's all done. Yep. So anyway, speaking of books, I sent you that book idea, Shawn. So make sure you talk to Annette about that, or check your Facebook page again.
Sure.
Because I think we would have fun writing one together.
Very cool. Yeah. It's I'm the kind of person that I probably overthink committing to things. It's because I am the kind of person that if I commit to something, I want to be able to fulfill my commitment. I am so stretched out, as thin as I've ever been stretched out right now. Like Bishop Long has put a lot of responsibilities on me this year as the new abbot for the Benedictines and the USOCC. So that's a lot. And then I don't want to, this is a paranormal show. I don't want to get into all my wife and my personal issues, but we have, we've been dealing with, and a lot of people are in the same situation, dealing with a lot of health issues and health scares and a lot of procedures coming up and things of that nature. So I'm stretched pretty thin, but when you first reached out to me about this idea, and it was for a pilot documentary film, which I think between the two, if I had a choice between that and the book, your original idea is
I still think that's the best one anyway.
Absolutely. We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
We'll work on it. We'll still do it. So just a few quick things before we move on, talking about the Hat Man and everything that I wrote in your book. Blue Moon Sigma is the organization that I have partnered with to do Hat Man research. So welcome, Philomena. Thank you for joining the show tonight. And then Philip is joining us from beyond. If you're trying to help a client, you're looking to document evidence to support their claims. So documentation is important for a residential case.
Absolutely.
So since we're talking about projects and all of that stuff, one question I get asked a lot, and I don't know why people ask me, because I tell them, go to the source, but people are wondering, is the Legion of Exorcists getting a sequel?
Oh, gosh.
and do you know if you are?
I don't know. You know what's funny? It's on a bit of a after it premiered on Travel Channel and it did very well. It went to HBO Max, which is still streaming there. I think it's probably streaming on every major streaming service. It's doing well. It's on a bit of a world tour, if you will. I've heard from people in Central and South America that have seen it and love it. I've heard from people in the UK, all over the UK. Recently heard from someone in the Philippines. I've heard from someone that's seen it in France. And where was the other place over there? Some other place in Germany and France. So I don't know. It would be fun. I'm all for it. I've gone on record with the producer and the director that I'm all for it. There's any question about who you can bring back. And then again, it may be an entirely different cast. Who knows? And they told us that in the very beginning, even if the show does very well and we go on to a season 2, it may be a completely different cast. So we knew
Right.
that. But I would love
Yeah.
to do. I have more stories. I have
Mhm.
more stories that and the my all my books I gave to the when we started this like 2 years prior. This is before even COVID. We
Mhm.
started preparing for that show, so they've had all my stories, and so they know I've got stories, and they love all the stories, and you never know, crazier things have happened, but I have not heard from
Mhm.
anybody involved in the project behind the scenes that they're thinking
Yeah,
about doing
and we
that.
were supposed to actually have Stephen Crawford on the show today to join in
Oh,
on that,
cool.
but he is filming another show and he's not available tonight. So we're
Yeah,
gonna have to make.
he's a
Mhm.
very busy actor.
Yeah.
He's hard to track
Mhm.
down.
Yep. But his plan was to be here tonight, but they have him filming today. So
Very
I
cool.
thought
Very
that would have
cool.
been fun to have him here since he I remember you telling us a story that he actually watched all of your shows and did everything to become you, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I hear from this guy back in the day. I
Mhm.
still had my radio show on another network other than the one I'm on now, and he called the network wanting to speak with me and spoke
Mhm.
to the station manager, and then she actually hooked us up, and he's just a fun, quirky, talented guy, and
Mhm.
yeah, they put the blue contact lenses on him, and somehow
Mhm.
they lengthened his hair a little bit and darkened it up because he's a blonde,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
he grew a beard out for it, and they darkened his beard, and I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he did.
Awesome.
Yep.
He was actually in living renting a haunted home. He didn't know it was haunted when he started renting it with his sister at the time he was doing the show. So him and I spoke many times late at
Mhm.
night. He'd call me up and say, "Listen, there's stuff going on here. I'm filming it, but I want you to be on the phone with me as I go in and see what's going
Mhm.
on." And so we were even going to somehow try and use that story for a season 2, but it never happened. But he was in a very haunted home at the time that
Wow.
we spoke. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. That's awesome. I do have a question for you.
Okay.
I wrote it down because I was doing some homework earlier and I watched some of your past episodes on Ghost Ed 101. And I want to ask both of you actually, did you guys ever find out what the word congruism is?
No, I
You
don't
didn't.
know
No.
what it is though.
Mm-mm.
Heather, do you know?
Nope.
Throw,
I think I
throw,
remember looking it up.
throw that at me one more time, Tiffany.
Congruism.
Congruism. No, I
At
don't
least
know.
that's how I spelled
Oh,
it. That's how it came through
yep.
on the
I found the
agenda.
definition. I remember looking it up now after we did the show.
What's the
Yeah.
definition say?
It is a theological theory, particularly within Catholicism, explaining how God's grace becomes effective, suggesting that divine grace works because God gives it in suitable or congruous circumstances, and
Oh,
it
very
basically
cool.
leads to an individual's
Okay.
free will.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. You would think I would know that.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, free will's a big thing. When it comes to God, a lot of people reach out to me and they want to know why does God allow
Right.
uh,
Mhm.
possession? And it's like this. And any answer I give on that is going to be so not qualified um, for the big picture. There's no way we can understand how God thinks or how God feels or what God does. There's just no way. I do, in my humble opinion, I believe that some possessions, not all, but and they're all different, occur because either the person that's being targeted or somebody close to them needs, for whatever reason, needs to see that true evil exists, and they need to see the power of
Hmm.
divine intervention when this person gets delivered.
Mhm.
Then again, of course, so many occur because there's just so many people out there that have no religious belief system in place, and they're just very mean, ugly people, perverted, going around doing crazy things, hurting people, doing, you know, violent things, perverted things, and they put a target on their back, and then many people are being targeted and they're thoroughly oppressed, God forbid, possessed, and they have nowhere to go to reach out for help, or don't even realize sometimes that they're going through that. So I don't try to think in terms of I wonder why God did this or did that. But I know that free will is a big thing. If you turn your back on God
Yeah.
and you accept, there comes a time where you have to draw your line in the sand and decide, what side of the fence you're going to be on.
Mhm.
And if you turn your back on God, that's not a good thing. And I'm not trying to preach to people or convert
Mhm.
anybody. I've helped a lot of people that before they needed help, they didn't believe in God. And so that's why I tend to lean towards some of these cases are because people needed that to happen to them for
Mhm.
whatever reason. And once they got the help, and if it wasn't me and I reached out to somebody else and got them in there to help them, afterwards their lives were changed, and now they're, um, just even if they're not God fearing churchgoers again, they're much better people having lived through that, and now
Right.
they're just living a different life, and that's
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of humbling. I think it makes you realize that there's something always bigger than you are.
Mhm.
You're not,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
And the one thing, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, and the one thing that I'm glad is that people have someone like you to go to, because
Yes.
there's so many cases. Even the one case when I was still living in Vegas that I consulted with you on, the woman, she had a priest come into her home, and he charged her $2,000 before he would come in. Took 2 steps in her front door and said, "There's evil here. I can't help you. It's basically above his pay grade." And he turned around and walked out with her cash.
Wow. Well,
And he was a priest from a local church.
was it? It couldn't have been Catholic Church. It
I
had to
don't.
be
I doubt it.
non-denominational
Yeah.
Christian or
Yeah.
or or a different denomination.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
Catholic priest, first of all, wouldn't charge,
Right.
um,
Right.
and that it just wouldn't go down that way.
Yeah.
And I hear that a lot,
Mhm. Yeah.
and that's a shame because it makes us all look bad. It
Mhm.
gives us all a black eye.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for instance, like I do have a bishop here that I talk to a lot. He happens to be, I mentioned the Philippines earlier. He happens to be a Filipino, and he's the bishop at a local Roman Catholic. I'm old Catholic, but
Mhm.
a local Roman Catholic church here. And his upbringing, very religious, devoutly religious person. His upbringing was you don't go into battle with the devil because it's just something you don't do.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
he goes out and does a lot of house blessings and cleansings, um, but he tends to shy away from jumping in the deep end without his floaties on and going full
Yeah.
on into the exorcism stuff. But he has people that are attached to his diocese that are exorcists trained that he
Mhm.
reaches out to. So it all depends, but you wouldn't find an ordained Catholic priest with apostolic succession for sure
Mhm.
who would behave that way. So
Yeah.
he definitely had to be from another
Yeah.
denomination.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because she called us crying, and she's like, "I need your help, but I can't afford to pay you." And it's like, you don't have to pay me. Let me, let me see what I can do. And but yeah, poor woman. Yeah, I always
That
feel
breaks
bad
my
when they hear
heart.
those stories. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I hear it
What's
more
your
often than
what is your film crew doing? You're in Texas now, but you have a
yeah.
film crew still out here in Vegas.
Yes, they're on motion picture video. They're doing some other films. They just came out with Real Hunts 4, which we were in again. And I just spoke to them yesterday. They're making their way to Texas, and they're going to do some filming with us based on the 8-book deal that I just signed.
Very cool.
Nice.
So,
Very,
so
very cool.
hopefully Still
Very
waiting for the
exciting.
details on that one, but we're still working closely with them.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to get together with them and film something.
Yes, yeah, and they're all ready for it. They just got to get us both in the same location.
Very cool. Very
Yep,
cool.
I was actually supposed to be out there in October, but with just recently moving, things fell through, and I couldn't get out there.
And then you had your medical issue.
Yeah, so instead of traveling, I decided to have surgery.
Good for you. That's okay. We'll get together.
Yep. I'm hoping to be out there again later this year because it's the same convention. So that she's having again this year, as long as she's going through some health issues. So hopefully she gets through it and can host it again. And she hosts it every October. So
did either one of you make any resolution for 2026 or have any predictions?
I don't. I stopped that so long ago. Yeah, I wake up some days and I'm like, today is my resolution. You know?
I've done that. I said no, I'm not going to do it. But this year, for some reason, I just said I call it my year of transformation.
I love it.
I've decided I'm going all in this year, and if it doesn't work, then I know it wasn't meant to be.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It will.
Yeah, I don't do I stopped doing the resolution thing a long time ago because you're setting yourself up for failure. And but it's like, yeah, I'm concentrating on this year to just be my health for sure. My health. And but I always, every year, my wife kind of gets a kick out of me because every New Year's Eve I do a lot of stuff that's rooted in old Catholic and Celtic traditions, you know, and I go through the whole house doing all of these little routines and rituals on New Year's Eve. So I got all of that out of the way, and now I'm just gonna see what happens. I have no predictions for it, but just gonna basically concentrate on health this year for sure.
Yeah, that's why when I did some research and I found out that just pick a word for the year, and that's your resolution. So and that really stuck with me. Because, oh shoot, I can't remember her name. Oh, shoot, she was a heavyset British girl who's now thin. I'm like completely drunk.
What does she do?
Her last name's Wilson. I know that much. She was in
Rebel Wilson.
Well, Rebel Wilson.
Okay.
Yes,
I think she's Australian.
Yep, I read an article and she said during COVID she decided to start doing that.
Yeah,
and she just picks a term for the year and that's what she works towards, instead of actual goals. And I was like, that makes sense. And that, hopefully that works.
Very cool. How do you sign a 8-book deal?
That's impressive.
We all know Texas is big. Okay. So I proposed, because I have Southern Nevada ghost towns, I have Florida ghost towns. So I proposed to the same publisher, Texas ghost towns.
Wow.
Well, there's a lot. So they're having me break it up into 8 books.
Okay.
So it was
kind
of
like
one
that
deal,
take
but
you
it
to
turned
write?
into 8 books. I probably will need to have them all. I know my deadline technically is March, but that was when it was just a 1-book deal. So I'm waiting for the new contract to come through. But I'm probably going to have it done by summer.
All 8 books.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
They're 50,000 words each. That's not bad. They're not very long.
Okay.
Do you travel to all these places or just do research on them from where you're at?
I do research on them the best I can. I reach out to people who either work in the towns, live in the towns, if I can't get to it. Because I know my Lighthouse book for Florida, I was laid up with knee replacement surgery. So I relied heavily on emails, video calls, and phone calls for that one. But just yesterday we drove through, it's called Stringtown, Texas. It's like 15 minutes from where I live. And all that's left there is a church from 1894.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And 2 cemeteries. That's the only thing left in that town. There's no buildings, no nothing, and it's all. But yeah, so it was kind of fun to go out there and see that yesterday.
Very, very cool. Yeah, people get amazed sometimes when they take the time to do research even about Vegas here, and you've lived here. Yep. A lot of old haunted places here too.
Oh yeah.
And then I remember back in the day when Sharon and I still did a lot of ghost hunting. We would just look at a map and decide, okay, we're going to drive in this direction till our tank is half empty, and then we know we
Mhm.
have enough at least to get back home, and
Right.
then we'll head back. And we would not know where we were going or what we were going to see, but
Yep.
just about every time we went out, we would come across sometimes these old ghost
Mhm.
towns that there was no name for the town up, nobody around, um, these old structures still standing, and we would eh, really have some pretty interesting outings
Mhm.
at these locations. So it can be done. It's like urbexing on steroids, you know. And it's funny
Yep.
how a lot of us that have been passionate about the paranormal since we were very young. Um, I was urbexing before it was called urbexing. We didn't know it
Mhm.
was urbexing. Just something about um, investigating and exploring, I should say, because you didn't
Yep.
really even know you were investigating, exploring these
Yeah.
old abandoned
Mhm.
locations and these old Western ghost towns. They're just spooky.
They are, and I think there's
Mhm.
something about them
Yep.
also
Yeah, I remember we were
being in the
exploring.
desert.
Yep.
I've even heard from people that have
Yeah.
been to
Yeah, I remember we were.
Bodie. You guys heard of Bodie?
Yes.
Yep.
I've heard from some people that
Mhm.
have taken stuff from Bodie and they have had the worst
Mm.
luck
Mhm.
that you can imagine
Yep.
until they packaged this item up and sent it back.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
things
Mhm.
turned around for them. So you got to be
Wow.
careful. A lot of people go out to these places and they see things and they want to pick them up and take them home. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't know what energy
Yeah, I
is
remember.
in a place. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I remember we were exploring and we came across the cemetery. No idea it was there. We were actually on our way to Nelson. And when I got back home, we started researching it. And of course, everybody knew about it, but of course, we didn't. Of course, who figures? But it was that pet cemetery out in Boulder City, the one that's like right there off the highway that has Rin Tin Tin's great grandson
Yeah.
buried there. Yeah, and that was a really sad place to visit because you realize that it's all pets. But then when you research it
Oh.
even more, it's also the possibility of mob dump sites and
Oh wow.
a few other things. But yeah, that was one of the most interesting places that we stumbled upon while we were out there.
You lived out here for a while. Do you remember Craig Road Pet Cemetery?
Yep.
My wife and I used to give tours there. A lot of people
Okay.
don't realize that. There's the Craig Road Pet Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be an old house there right on the corner. Now it's a bank. But then right behind the cemeteries, uh, one or two condominium
Mm-hmm.
complexes, and then on the other side of that is another people cemetery. But that whole land strip there was
Mm-hmm.
all Craig Road Pet Cemetery. Well, it was just Craig Road Cemetery at one time, and then they sold that center part of the land off,
Mm-hmm.
and then they started building on it, and then somebody
Mm.
else bought the part that's the people cemetery at the other end. But the original woman that owned that lived in that home on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And that home, after she passed away there in the home, that home remained very haunted and active. But people, my wife is still the office manager at an animal hospital. I was the vet tech at the same place for almost 20 years. People, we used to send the animals that had passed away there that the owners wanted them cremated,
Mm-hmm.
and we would get reports back from the people there at how haunted this place was. So we said it might be a good place. We asked for their permission. They said cool, and we started giving tours there at night of the pet cemetery, and it was surprisingly active.
Mhm.
And you would it's different to investigate spirit
Mm-hmm.
animals than it is spirit
Yep.
people.
Yeah.
And but everybody that used to come on the tours got a big kick out of it. But a lot of people, there were still people buried there too, because
Mm-hmm.
before it was a pet cemetery, it was a human cemetery.
Mhm.
And then in Vegas, there's some type of law that you can sign to be buried with your pet, but you can't have your pet buried with you in a people cemetery.
Oh,
So
okay.
there are still people that occasionally get buried there with their pet who's
Mm.
already there ahead of them.
Mhm.
So there's some people spirits there, but they were gonna the people that owned the bank bought the plot that had the home on that the woman lived in, and they tore it down. They built the bank there. Wouldn't you know it? The bank
Yep.
people came over to the pet cemetery people and said, "We're having some weird issues in the bank." And those
Wow.
people, the pet cemetery people, reached out to my wife and I, and we actually went to this bank, and we couldn't investigate in there, but we had some interesting conversations with some of the tellers and some of the um, security guards there as to what was
Mhm.
happening in this home. So I find that also very cool. But it's all intent. If you go to these places
Yeah.
and give the spirits respect and the location
Mhm.
respect, and you're there in good faith,
Hmm.
it all works out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
So just real quick, a couple of people joining us. Courtney says hello. Um,
Hi,
Philomena
Courtney.
said that she's glad to be here. I know she commented earlier, and then congratulations, so proud of her. So yeah, Philomena, we need to get in contact with each other. I know it's been crazy.
How long have you been doing this show now?
Since 2020.
And how Tiffany had
Mhm.
commented, she's stepped in for your other Philip.
Philip.
So,
Hmm.
Philip, he's okay, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, he's fine. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. He's just
yep,
busy.
yeah,
Very busy. Yeah. But
yeah,
I'm
Very,
happy to
very
be.
cool.
He's actually watching tonight. So
yep.
Well,
Yeah,
tell
he
him I said
was.
hi next time you speak to
Yep,
him. Tell him I
absolutely.
said
yep.
hey. And okay. This is my first prediction for 2026. He'll come back, and it'll be the three of you
Mhm.
co-hosting this show together.
Hush. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. So this was the research that we do, and
Hmm.
we have hundreds of interviews that she's done with people who've experienced the Hat Man. So she's throwing this to you guys.
The Hat Man. You know what? I probably have, and I didn't know it. I do have some photos of uh, dark figures that almost. You know what? Oh, I don't have it here. I would have to go into my briefcase. There was a mansion here in Las Vegas, and the owner of the mansion had been dead for many, many years. Some people had rented the home out. Nobody wanted to stay there, so they left. But the house went on the market, and it was in one of the older areas of Las Vegas, a gated community. Some of the old time rich and famous still live there. The guy that built the mansion was at one time the richest copper baron in all of America.
Oh,
So he
wow.
built this mansion, and a friend of mine, it landed in his lap to be the real estate agent to try and sell it. And he realized right away going in there and getting the place presentable to show that there was something odd going on there. Long story short, my wife and I, we probably went there a dozen times to investigate and try and help him figure out what was going on there, because every time he brought buyers in there, the spirits would act up and they would scare the buyers off.
Wow.
So, yeah, Sharon's very psychically, since she won't call herself a psychic, but she made friends. The last woman that owned the place, died in there. Her spirit was still there, and her and my wife really hit it off and became friends. And she would visit my wife in dreams and tell her stuff about the place. And we would go back and find out it would be true. Like she talked about this secret passageway in the
Oh,
library, and there was some important medical information in there about her and the home. And my friend said, I've gone over that place with a fine tooth comb, including the blueprints. There's no secret passageway in there. We would come over there. Sharon would go in the library and find this secret passage. So
Wow.
it was this weird connection there, but there was a loft leading to an extended area of the home, and there was something not nice up there at all. In fact, several people had been pushed down the stairs once they went into the loft and tried to come back out. So it was dangerous to even go up there. I had
Wow.
caught the whatever it was appeared as like a blobby, shadowy thing under the stairs. I caught that, but from outside, when we would arrive, we would come in through the back, so not to um, uh, get attention, because he
Hmm.
wanted us coming in secretly below
Right.
under the radar, so we wouldn't enter through the front. Several pictures we took, there would be an apparition of something always looking at us from an upstairs window above that loft, and it always appeared to have. We would comment that, am I crazy or does it look like this thing is wearing a hat?
Wow.
So I don't know if that was the Hat Man, but whatever was up there was malevolent. It wasn't nice. It was physical and would try to hurt people. And when it would look at us through the window when we would arrive, it appeared to have a hat on. That's crazy that you bring that up. So I don't know if it was the Hat Man. Um, what do you guys think that's all about?
Yeah, that could be 100 different things.
I could.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
That would
I did,
require a few investigations. I think.
I
yeah.
haven't talked to too many people that have dealt with the Hat Man, but I just recently spoke to a woman who had a very scary incident with a black-eyed, and I haven't heard of anybody having any black-eyed children or black-eyed people apparitions in a long time. And this is broad daylight on a road that she frequents a lot to and from work. A man was hitchhiking. She pulled beyond him. She said he looked innocent enough. I pulled over, saw him in my rearview mirror walking up, but then lost sight of him for a split second. She looked over. He wasn't there. And when she looked back, he was already here at the driver window, bent over looking at her. She said his
Nope.
eyes were solid black. And
Nope.
she freaked, gunned it, peeled off, looked in the rearview mirror, and he wasn't there. But she won't even, she's so frightened, she won't even go down that road anymore.
Oh
She's
yeah.
like added like several
Mhm.
miles onto her
Oh.
trip to work and home every day just to avoid that stretch of highway. I said, listen, just bless yourself, bless your car, use the same road, don't show fear, but
Yeah.
do not pick up any hitchhikers on that road.
Yeah. No, don't
Um,
do it. No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I have never, even I've had colleagues um, have seen possessed people's eyes go completely black. I've never seen that. I've seen them go completely white. I've never seen the completely black thing,
Mhm.
but that was the first person I've spoken to in a long time that had any encounters
Mhm.
with the black-eyed children or the or any entity with the solid black eyes. That's not a good, and I don't know what that's all about either. And it's always on a road, and they're always either hitchhiking
Mhm.
or standing in the middle of the road, and you have to stop. They get up to
Yeah.
the car and they want to come in. Um, it just, I don't know what that's all about either.
No, and we were actually on it. I don't know if I shared this on your show or not in the past, but we were on an investigation, and an investigator that I work with in Vegas, we could be in a dark room and know what each other's doing and thinking. That's how well we work together. He was actually standing up in a room, and it scared the crap out of me because he's 6 foot something and a big guy. And here I am standing next to him. His eyes went completely black during the investigation. And I was like, crap, what do I do? I'm in this room alone with
Yeah.
this guy. What do I do? But
Oh,
luckily
wow.
he snapped out of it, and he had no idea where he was when he snapped out of it.
Oh.
A lot of people are surprised that spirits can do that. Spirits
Yeah.
can jump you.
Mhm.
They don't possess, but
Yeah.
they can take your energy and they can jump you for a
Mhm.
moment or two, and it's almost like a temporary possession.
Yep.
And you have to be very careful, even when you just aren't in the presence of the demonic, God forbid.
Yep.
If you're just at some of these um, spirits, malevolent or not,
Mm-hmm.
can jump you. And so
Yep.
people have to be aware of that too and be careful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this was a
Yeah.
home where we were on the fence of whether it was, we knew there were 3 spirits in there. And it was a tough call. I think one was malevolent, but then the others were peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always go in and we say like an opening statement, and we say, you know, we're here to communicate, but you may not harm us in any way. You know, we say that before we get started, asking any questions, doing anything. So, and there have been some times where I've said it to myself again
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like there's so much going on, and you know, I need to make sure that nothing's following me home, because I have 2 children. So, you know, and when I got started doing this work, I, you know, made a promise that I would not bring anything home, and, you know, I would keep it, work as separate, you know, and so there's a lot of prep that goes into making sure when I'm getting ready for an investigation, making sure that everything here is okay. And then also when I get back from an investigation, like I have like a checklist that I go through before I step through the door and after. So yeah, you do need to
We
be
have to,
careful.
we have to all be crazy to do what we do. And it just has to be some kind of weird um passion button that's gotten
It
pushed at one
is.
time or
It
another.
is.
And
Yeah.
we just get, you know, people ask me all the time, how did you become, how did you get into the deliverance ministry or exorcism business? And I'm honest with them. I say literally drug into it, kicking and screaming, because my wife and I worked a case that was, we were way in over our heads and we didn't know what we were doing. And whatever was there followed us home, and lived here in the house for about 2 months. And my wife was the main target of the attacks. And when we moved in, and I think what fueled it and made it as violent as it was we already were living in a haunted home. And
Oh.
so once whatever this was got here, I think it used all of that, was able to manipulate uh,
Hmm.
all of this spirit energy that was already here, which empowered it and made it even stronger than it probably already was. But
Yeah.
it's just all, to me, after all of these years, still I find it all so amazing, because the 3 of us are going to have this conversation one day in heaven, and we're
Yep.
going to be laughing at all the stuff we know then that we don't know now. And
Yep.
I'm happy, I'm okay with not knowing all the
Yeah.
answers, because that fuels me and keeps me
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
But it's all here. I mean, Sharon and I have seen animal spirits here, human
Hmm.
spirits, elemental activity, really crazy elemental activity. I don't know what that's all about. So we have to be somewhat crazy what
Yeah.
we do. But at the bottom, you peel all the layers away, and I know why we do it, and it's to help people. And
Yes.
not everybody in doing what we do is in it for that reason. And they stand out like a sore thumb in the crowd. But when people like us are in it to truly help other people, pass on what we know or what we don't know, but to be there for people and listen to them and do the best we can to help or give advice. Um, I tell people I can't wave a magic wand and make your troubles go away, but I'll come over there, draw my line in the sand, and stand there with you with my arm around you, and be there and help you fight whatever it is that's there, and
Yep.
then we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah. And that brings me, I have a question, another question I wanted to ask you. Again, I was watching some of your past shows here on Ghost Ed, and you said in one of them, you said when talking to people who come to you for help, you said you think they're ready, but when push comes to shove, they're actually not. And it got me thinking, because when I was in metaphysics school, I kind of leaned into the whole concept of personal power. And as long as you have your power, you're in control. But I've run into that too, where, and it's not just people who are, experiencing a haunting, just people just in everyday life. It seems like people are so quick to give their personal power away, where they go, this is just fine. I'll do what you say. Um, I'm not in control of myself. Why do you have a theory of like why you think that is? I've literally stayed up nights trying to figure this out.
I don't have a theory. I'll tell you, a
Mm.
lot of people reach out to me that truly have demonic infestation in their home or a family member that's possessed, and they just want me to come over and wave a magic wand and make it all go away, and they want to go right back to living their life the way they were living it and doing what they've said and done something to become a target.
Mm.
And when I finally narrow it down and figure out what it probably is that they need to change about their life, um, sometimes they're just not ready to let go. So they can be hanging over the edge of the abyss by their fingernails, and it can be a matter of life and death whether they change their situation around or not. And sometimes they're just still not ready. The hardest thing I deal with all the time, and I got to run here in a couple of
Yep.
seconds,
Mhm.
is knowing when to say when and cut people loose. It's
Yeah.
heartbreaking for me to have to do that sometimes, but when the time comes for me to say, if you're not going to help me help you, it's for me to continue to do what I'm doing. It's just going to make things worse. I'll
Mhm.
try and find somebody who might be able to help you that will work better with you. But um, for me to continue to try and help you and you not being willing to give me anything back at all, is just going to make things worse. And many times I have to cut them loose, and it's
Yeah.
it's hard, but you got to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I know you have to get going, but real quick, can you let everybody know where they can find you? And I'm going to put your website
Well,
up here real quick.
website is www.ghost-b-gone.biz. Everything's there. My books are there. And if you purchase the books off the website, I autograph them. They come to you in a house blessing kit. My online course is there that you can enroll in. There's a place where you can make an appointment to speak with me about your spiritual issues. And my church is the United States Old Catholic Church. I'm the abbot for the Old Catholic Benedictines of Immaculate Mary, two great organizations. So a lot going on. A lot going on. My show, Father Shawn's Paranormal Ministry, every Friday, live at 2 p.m. Pacific, everywhere where podcasts live. So we're easy to find. And I love you both and respect you
Yep.
both. Thank you for inviting
Thank
Love
me.
you
you.
too.
And
Thank
got
you
to
for
get you
coming.
guys on my show.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
All
And
right,
stay in
guys.
touch, and we'll have you on again soon.
I will.
Good
I'll see you
night.
guys soon. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Yep.
He was
I
awesome.
absolutely love him. He's amazing. So, guys, don't go away. We're still going to stick around for a while. I know I stopped going through some of the comments real quick before we continue on here. We had Robin joining us earlier. Just going to go through these real quick. Philip was here. Philomena, thank you for all of your questions or your comments about the Hat Man and the other
Yeah.
projects that you're doing.
So, I mean, I am so looking forward to this project that you're doing with Heather.
Yeah.
I'm always asking her, like, okay, where is it? Where are you guys with it? When's it coming out?
We're working on
Do you
it.
need an ARC reader?
Yep.
I'm here.
Hopefully this year. I know last year both her and I had some issues that got in the way. But I know there's exterior forces trying to
Yes.
stop us
Yeah.
because and that's one thing that I was going to bring up, but he got busy talking in the book. I do bring up Project Umbra, which is the project that we are working on for this. And it talks about the experience that I had with the Hat Man, not moments after I joined the project.
Wow.
Almost like
Okay.
it was trying to scare me off.
Wow.
He's not scaring me.
Very
it ain't
cool.
happening.
Yeah, no, this is what you do.
Yep. And Philomena, I do have you on my list. We do want to get you on the show. Definitely talk about your, I know your personal experiences. I had you on Exploring the Paranormal at one point, and it was an amazing show. We definitely need to get you on here. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that, because I know you had a lot going on. That's kind of why I've been just sitting in the back burner doing some editing and some stuff for the books that we have going on. And Bobby made an appearance. He will be on our show. Let me double check the date. I don't want to get it wrong. The 28th. So amazing guy. He's a fun one to have. He does a lot of cryptid research, Bigfoot research. He lives on a reserve where they have Native American experiences with Bigfoot and stuff like that. Plus, he also, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was doing, he called it ink therapy, where he would give tattoos as a method of therapy to help people.
Okay.
So,
awesome. Very cool.
And Bobby, if you're still chiming in, correct me if I'm wrong, or to let me know what's going on. But so one thing we skipped at the beginning, because I wanted to make sure I got Father Shawn on here, is our new intro. I love it. I know Todd's no longer on social media, but thank you, Todd, for doing that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
We will be using that moving forward, and I'm sure we'll reach out to Todd again if we need another one done, because he did a great job.
Yes, it was awesome.
So if anyone gets a chance, I know he does not have social media anymore, but you can find him on evpexplorations.com. He offers free classes on EVP and spirit communication. So it's amazing that he has that all up there for free for everybody. So make sure you check that out and support him any way you can. Okay, so what should we talk about first? Because I know we have so much going on.
We have a lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot that we can't share yet either.
Yep. Let me just go through our list of what we can share, because I have everything on a calendar. I'm sorry. That's what I was meaning. It's been
we call
reservations. That was I realized that after it came out, it didn't come out right. Sorry.
Okay. And it's on pause for now. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for the correction.
Reservations, not reserves. I was thinking something completely different at the time I was speaking. So yes. And I'm glad he's laughing, because he knows I'm a little out in left field some days. And I'm never gonna live that one down. So
yeah, it's okay.
But just going through our calendar, next week we have Kenneth Holden on. I've known Kenneth for many years. He has actually he was working on restoring an old funeral home in Charleston, but that kind of fell through, and now he's working on other projects. He gives tours, he deals in history, he's a psychic medium. You name it, this guy does it all. Great guy. And then we have our first ever free introductory class into the paranormal. It's just a basic class. Here's what paranormal research is, but you never know what can come out of it. So we're having that later this month. This is one I'm looking forward to on the 21st. We have Kevin Ott. He's the producer for Haunted Discoveries with Brandon Alvis and Mustafa. He will be on. I don't know yet, but we may have some of the other talent from that show joining us. You never know who might be making an appearance on that show, but he is going to be talking about that, as well as we're going to be talking about Haunted Discoveries Family Spirits, which was the show that I appeared on last year. Still waiting for my show date release, but we're going to be talking about that. One thing that we are introducing is a Sunday recap and chat.
Yes.
Once a month, we're going to get together. We're just going to talk about what happened throughout the month, see what's going on, and just kind of have a chat back and forth, kind of like what we're doing now, except for now I'm doing all the talking. So I don't know if you want to continue with some of our future shows or what's going on. Everything is on the list there.
Right. I have it. I just pulled it up right here. So let's see. I'm going to have to miss the show on the 4th. I'm out of town on February 4th. Barnaby Jones. I will be out of town. But we're going to have a panel discussion, Science of the Paranormal with CPRI, Paranormal Psychics with Robert Bradley.
That's supposed to be physics. Sorry. Did I type it wrong?
Physics. No, I can't read. That says physics, which is still awesome. Sounds amazing. and then David Oman. And then we have a panel discussion on March 4th, psychics, mediums, and spiritualists. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
That's going to be really fun. So yeah, we have a lot of
Yep.
shows. We are scheduled like through the end of the year, I think.
Yeah,
Or
I've been
almost.
working on it,
Yeah.
and I mean, David Oman's a fun one. I had him on my other show.
Mhm.
Sometimes the conversation with him can go off a little into left field, but he has his
That's
home
always fun.
his home is completely haunted.
Uh-huh.
And he actually, the last show I had him on, he started having a conversation with a spirit in the room. So it was
Wow.
kind of fun and interesting. But his home, he believes, is haunted by Sharon Tate, who was murdered just 2 homes down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I know this story.
yep.
Okay. I
Yep.
know this story.
Mhm.
Very cool. Okay. I have questions. I have so
Yeah.
many questions. All right.
Yep. So,
All
and
right.
then,
The name didn't ring a bell at first, but now I'm like, okay, yep, got it.
Yeah, so he's a nice guy. I've known him for years as well. When I lived in Vegas, he was always asking us to come out, and he welcomed us to stay at his house. He was willing, but we just never made it out there.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
but yeah, he's a
Awesome.
great guy. But yeah, he has a lot going on, and he has a lot of things to share, because I have his book. Of course, it's still packed. I don't know where it's at, but his book dives into not only what happened 2 doors down, but how he found the house, how he was drawn to the house, and also the other, there's a whole bunch of other types of things that are leading to the haunting, what from geography to history of the land, and a whole bunch of other things that he talks about. So it's kind of
Awesome.
I know when he was on the show, and it's one of those things you don't know because you weren't there, but a little trinket fell off the shelf behind him while we were talking.
Oh,
so
wow.
You never know what can happen with that show.
Yeah. I do know you and I are talking about doing kind of an investigative type live. We don't know when. Obviously, you're in Texas, I'm in Georgia, but we're thinking of doing something where each of us goes to a location and then we both go live and seeing what happens. So we have to figure out the details and figure out exactly how that's going to work, but I think that could be really fun.
Yep, I already have a couple locations here in mind, so we'll definitely see what happens with that. Other than that, it's going to be a busy year and a lot of things planned, especially now that we go live once a week instead of every other week.
Yeah.
You're all going to be sick of us before the end of the year. They're going to be like, oh my God, ghosted again. No,
it's awesome. I love doing this show. What else have we talked about in terms of plans? I can't think of anything.
I do know of one project that I've kind of mentioned in passing, as far as posting on our social media page, and I do have 3 people already interested in participating in it. It is a more or less a book on advice for beginners from our past show guests.
I do remember you mentioned.
I know Robert Bradley showed interest, Steve Dills, and so that should be interesting. And then I figured what would be fun is Blake Best would write the foreword for us.
Yes,
for that one
would be amazing.
Yep. So that's one thing I know. I'm working on gathering people. I'm reaching out to those that had been on the show, and it's more or less, hey, I've been in this for years. This is what I would recommend, someone new to the field.
I love it. I know growing up, I'm an 80s baby, but I also grew up in the 90s. God, I wish I had this kind of outlet, something just like, before Father Shawn came on, he asked me how I got into the field, and I kind of give him just a real short, brief rundown of what started it when I was a teenager. And, I had mentioned to him, I couldn't tell anybody what I saw. Philomena, you were asking if I ever seen the Hat Man. I don't think I saw the Hat Man. I saw a shadow person that was wearing a jacket. I don't remember a hat, so I don't know. But I saw something very tall, very big, very dark and black in my living room. And not having anybody to tell, that, I mean, internet at that point was AOL. There was no information on there. So, gosh, I wish there had been something.
See, at least you had internet. I had to go to the library and look like a freak ass librarian for a stack of books.
Well, I don't know if we can call AOL the internet anymore.
True.
We had, what was it? It was like it was the encyclopedia, but you had all the discs. I can't remember what it was called. It had, I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, we had those. They were like the floppy disks. It was like the whole encyclopedia. Yeah, that's what we had. Yeah, and then they tried to transfer it onto AOL, but it didn't quite work. It was still a pain in the butt. So
yeah,
that was my high school internet.
I have to laugh because, of course, going back to school, everything's online now. When I took a, it was called a remote class with the community college, but I still had to go to the college and check out VHS tapes with the recorded class.
That's hilarious.
And it was like, and you can only check out one at a time. So you had to watch it, and then you couldn't check out the next one until you turned in your homework. So it was, and that's how they did the online or the remote class.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, I ended up failing that class because after 2 videos, I'm like, I'm not doing this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my, how times have changed.
Isn't that the truth? I tell my kids all the time, like, you have no idea.
Yep.
No idea.
Yep.
Like, we couldn't even, I had some just like in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't use the internet for a resource. It had to be through books. Like, and like now, you guys don't even have to go to the library. You don't have to use a book. It's just all online. What is this?
Yeah, we didn't even have that. We didn't even have computers. We had typing class. With the big typewriters. Yeah, no.
Times have changed.
Yep. And the mentality that we had back in the 70s and 80s, I think we would have gotten a lot more trouble than the kids today do with the internet because we.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. So real quick, if anyone has any questions, let us know. We'll stick around for a few more minutes, but then I'm good with cutting it short tonight. And
yeah. We don't want to give too much away. We have a lot of stuff in the works. We don't want to give too much away, but we gave you guys kind of a rundown of what we could. We have planning that we need to do.
Yep. Working on it step by step, and I just hope everything takes off.
It will.
But yeah, we couldn't do this without any of them watching us. So
no.
Yep.
Absolutely. We appreciate each and every one of you.
And any topics, let us know. I do know.
Yes, that's a big one. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to bring up. We do have just a few things I'm looking at, right? We are going to have a panel in April on cryptids and mythical creatures. If anyone's interested, let us know. A panel discussion on paranormal media and pop culture.
I have so much to say about that
perspectives, haunted playgrounds and children's spirits. And then I do have a couple that I had to move around, but I'm going to try to fit in here. If you are a non-paranormal investigator or researcher, please reach out to us if you've had paranormal experiences, because we would love to have you on the show to discuss what's going on. And then the other panel discussion, which is closed, but I think is going to be a lot of fun, is if you haven't seen it, in April of 2027, David Sloan is hosting an event in Key West. And we're going to have all of their guest speakers and special guests on a panel discussion in April.
That's going to be fun.
So, and if all goes well, we won't be guest speakers there, but we'll be going as guests.
Yes.
To experience what they're doing. So
yes. I already told my husband, I was like, 2027, Key West.
Yeah, actually, I mean, while we're here and chit-chatting back and forth, there is an event in Vegas in November that I'm going to try to go to. So I'll let you know if I'm able to go. It's actually a writers' convention.
Okay.
So.
What's that one called? There's a few that they do in
Author Nation.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
James Patterson is the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
So that looks like a lot of fun.
Mhm.
So, and also, I mean, it's right there in the heart of Vegas. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk more about it. It just depends. My husband does, he travels a lot. So,
Mhm.
um,
Yep.
but if he's here and he can watch the kiddos, then
Mhm.
I can most likely
Yep.
make it out there. So.
Yep. Yeah. That's the only, mine are older and no longer need me. So I can, I mean, the husband, on the other hand, he's probably watching too in the living room and dying laughing, or I'm going to hear about it later on when he comes to. Okay,
Mine's
well,
pretty good. He can fend. He can fend for a few days. He'll be all right.
mhm.
We have DoorDash, so he'll survive.
Right. Yeah. No, he does most of the cooking. So
Does he? Yeah.
yeah, he was good there, but the rest of the stuff when I went back to work full time, yeah, it took some adjusting for everybody.
That's
But
rough.
anyway, before we air all our dirty laundry on air, if there's anything up, here we go.
Would you
Well, I have plans in October. I'm meeting up with David Sloan, and he's taking me to see Robert the Doll. So
He does. I can't make it out there.
yeah, I'm hoping. He said if he's still in Key West, but at that time of year, he said you should be in Key West. So because we're going to be there just for one day, but even if he can't take us, that the museum's on our tour list for that day. So
Yeah.
God, when was the last time I saw Robert the Doll?
Oh, I didn't realize you'd seen him.
Yeah, it was probably, I want to say in the 90s, because it was before Aiden was born.
Okay.
So late 90s, early 2000s. So, yeah.
And I've never been out to Key West, so that I'm excited just to go out there. It's beautiful from what I've seen. So I'm excited about that.
If we get out there for their event, we need to take a day and take a shuttle over to Fort Jefferson.
Okay.
That is where Samuel Mudd was imprisoned, and there's a lot of paranormal activity there.
Okay. I will go wherever you tell me.
Yeah, including people have seen like vortexes and portals. One person described it as like looking into a kaleidoscope.
Wow.
At the end of the hallway. Other people have reported seeing the Hat Man at the end of the hallway, peeking around the corner, almost like he's just lurking around.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of UFO activity at night.
Wow.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I've done a lot of research on that because I think my 4 Florida books, that island has been in that book, each one.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of made its way into every book that and then actually my Civil War book, it's in there too. And that one comes out this year.
Okay.
I wrote that, I turned it in before we moved to Texas, but they're just so behind in publishing that one because I went with a different publisher for that one that they're hoping this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I need to self-publish because then I have control.
Yes, I know. And I need to get mine done. I was telling Heather before we went live, I didn't get any writing done over in December because my kids were home for the break. And yeah, there was a couple days where I was like, oh my gosh. I had all these plans. I had my brand new planner and it just didn't happen. And then I had to take the time and just sit back and say, they're only this age once, you know? So
yeah, okay. No. And it's so funny too because I'm working on editing the one book that I'm just going to go ahead and self-publish once I get it done, the one that I have finished. And I bring my computer to work with me or my tablet. And it's like, okay, I'll do it on my lunch break or I'll do it when we're slow. On the days I bring it with me, I don't get a lunch break and we're not slow. But then like today I didn't bring it with me and I sat there doom scrolling on my phone because there was nothing to do.
Yeah, always happens. Always. I find it hard when I'm not, like when I'm out, I find it hard to get into the fiction mindset. I don't know, I get distracted. It's really difficult. So I can edit, but when it comes to actually writing, like I have to be in my space.
Yep.
There's a lot of staring out the window. Philomena said life happens. as we make plans to write. Yes.
Yes,
It
definitely.
always does. Yeah.
No,
Always.
and my best writing, I know I probably shouldn't be writing drunk, but my best writing comes when I'm a
Girl,
half
do it.
bottle of wine into it.
Go do it, because
If
it's editing. It's
Right.
editing. If that's what gets it out, do it.
Yep. And it's like I'll be drinking wine, I'll just like just typing away like
Yeah.
crazy up half the night, and then yeah.
Yep.
But if I haven't had any wine, it's like, I don't want to write. Which is a good thing and a bad thing though, because like on days that I'm off, if I find myself writing at the computer, it's like, man, I really could use a glass of wine right now. It's like 9:00 in the morning.
Hey, I'm not telling nobody. I won't tell anybody.
I'll make sure to put that in my notes about the author. Can only write.
We should, you know what we should do? We should have a writing retreat together.
Yes.
We should do that. Have a writing retreat together for a weekend. Do nothing but write and or hash out ideas.
There's one I saw recently that's on a cruise ship.
I've heard of that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, I bring every cruise we've ever taken, I brought my computer with, just because I have these visions of sitting on the balcony typing while we're at sea. And it's like, I never do.
I know. I'm like, who actually gets writing done on these writing cruises? I would not. So
But I'm hoping this year that, because we're going to actually be at sea 3 days out of our 7-day cruise this time around. So I'm hoping to take just one day for me, just sit, even if I go to the adult lounge area and just sit, whether I read a book or write a book, one or the other.
For sure. I've been a couple times. There's been 2 times where I have just gotten a hotel room, like gone on Expedia or whatever, and found like a cheap hotel room. And gone for like a night or 2, because it gets me out of the house. And I don't have in the back of my mind, I have to do dishes. I possibly have a kid who's going to walk in. There's none of that stuff. I make sure the hotel room has a microwave and a refrigerator. I take food with me, and I literally don't leave.
Yep.
And the last time I did that, it was back in, I think it was March. And for my birthday, my husband, he had me go away to, it was actually an Airbnb up in the mountains in Georgia. And it was this cute little cabin. And I had so much fun. And I wrote so many words, and it got me out of the writing block that I had been struggling with for over a year with my fourth book in the series. And it was fantastic. I think in 2 days, I think I wrote like 16,000 words, which is for me, like unheard of. So, it was great. But I've done that, and I'm all for that. I tell people, especially like if they tell me that they just can't get past a certain part, I go, just take a night, check in, write all night. You don't have to do dishes. You don't have to clean up. You'll be surprised on what you can do.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe we can have it at Gettysburg, our little retreat. Except for we'll be distracted by ghosts. We'll just be.
I know. Yeah. We'll just be telling ghost stories all night.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That would be fun, though.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for watching. It's been kind of quiet, so I'm assuming everybody's getting ready to go to bed. I'm sure we are, too. So, and I just realized I didn't do my banners for the show, so I just have some of our old ones. You guys can follow us on Facebook at Ghost Education 101. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube at the same thing. And then join us next week. We will have Kenneth Holden to discuss everything from psychic abilities to paranormal research to historical research and preserving. I'm curious some of his Charleston ghost stories as well, because I've been to Charleston a lot of times. I have my ghost stories from there, but I'm curious to see what he has from there.
Awesome. I've been to Charleston, didn't have any experiences. I need to go back.
The battleship out there is amazing.
Yeah. Awesome. I don't even remember where we stayed, but we were only there for a little bit. It's beautiful. Absolutely. You can see, it's kind of like, it reminds me of Savannah because you can feel the history. It was awesome.
Yep. And I know it was a little hole in the wall, and some people just think it's a regular restaurant, but I think it had one of the best seafood restaurants I've ever been at. It's called Aw Shucks.
Okay.
And oh my God, their crab legs there were amazing.
Well, now I gotta go.
Yep. Yep. So anyway, I'm sure I'll be talking to you tomorrow, so I don't need to say goodbye to you. No, I'm just,
Just so you guys know, we don't just show up once a week here on the show. Like we do talk daily,
all week long.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a lot of playing. I mean, what's going to happen is one day we're going to be on a show and it's going to be like a 5-hour show because we're going to have to list off all the things that we're doing. Yep. Our 2-hour recap once a month won't be 2 hours.
I know. I don't know. My kids will be home during that time. So
and one thing, that I was
I'll be banging on the door. What was that?
I was asked by a viewer for us to start sharing some of our personal experiences as well as some of our cases. I know we can't reveal client information,
right?
But if we have any photos or videos that we can share down the road, they would like to see that as well. Some people have asked for that.
Okay. Well, I'll see what I can gather because I work with the team, so I'll have to run that by. And
I know I have a bunch, but it's one of those where it's like we were talking with Father Shawn. It's all about perspective because every time I share anything that I have, and I can see even someone from the outside, if someone shared this information with me, I would be questioning. So I get it.
Yeah.
But I was there. I know the situation. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But okay. Well, you have a great night. Everyone have a great night, and we will see you.
We'll see you next week.
Talk to you guys later.
Good night, guys.